Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Double D Experience. I'm David,
I'm Dennis.
and
This sometimes Russian,
sometimes Batman.
and sometimes
I guess.
Batman. Always the most unfunny podcast this side of the East Coast.
Now that's a lie. We have definitely that's a blatant lie. If it's made you laugh and it's made me laugh, it's fucking funny.
My
Even
mouth,
though we laugh at a lot of things, it is why you and I could never do sketch comedy together.
my mouth
because
is
we.
I would laugh at my own jokes. I
That's
am
what
that
I'm saying.
guy. I am that guy. And I've seen so many times too where like comedians have just like, especially even Bill Burr, like, and I always talk about him because like I honestly think like he's definitely, I mean, obviously goes without saying he's one of the GOATs as far as like stand-up comedians go, and he's like one of the few guys where like I've seen him like, especially when he was on Conan, he like just straight up like, even before he delivers the joke, he would laugh, and then afterwards he would tell the joke, and it would get the almost exact same response out of the audience, and even like Conan. And Conan has like a real like bro boner like for Bill. They
Right.
Conan actually
Hello,
had a
redheads gotta stick together.
yeah, they're both Bostonians too, so it's just like
Oh.
yeah, so they gotta like angry East Coasters gotta like stick together, you know what I mean? Especially
Yeah.
if mass holes, I think it got called once, but Conan has like his own podcast that he has like because ever since the show is over, he like has people come onto his podcast, and like he basically has, it's kind of like another form of like the Conan show. It's just like I guess more intimate,
Yeah.
and just I guess a lot more flexible with at least the stuff that they could talk about. Because I think obviously on a talk show, like there's really not so much like, I mean, not that like you have a restriction about what you could talk about. I mean, yes and no, in the sense that like you can't really go like, let's say like
FCC regulations differ for the internet is the thing, which is weird considering how it's low-key more accessible now than other media.
Yeah, literally.
You know, like right here, I can say, like, you know, this is the best pissin' fucking cunt and shitting ass titty fucking show
you just
that
hear
you'll
like
ever see.
You just hear like bleeps and bleeps like right after.
Like that, like as on television, you know, Mr. Frog, like, hello. I think my least favorite thing was working with all those fucking dirty, and then he gets real racist. That doesn't fly on the internet. You know what I mean? You just on the internet, you just get canceled for being a racist. On there, you know, shows get sued and shit like that.
Or your show gets taken off the air as well. Like there's also like, I remember even before like I guess kind of our time, one comedian that I still listen to every now and then. His name is Patrice O'Neill. Like he passed away like many years ago, but like he went on this thing on Fox News, and I think this was a little bit before Fox News got like real deep into like the whole like conservative like Kool-Aid that they were like all about like ever since like the Trump days. And they brought him on, and like there was the story was like there was this one this was when radio shows, and I guess radio shows are still like pretty prevalent nowadays. Maybe podcasts are starting to get to that same level just because of at least like the sheer amount of viewership that a lot of podcasts like even have. Like I think some of them even dwarf like some more radio shows. And there was this couple of radio shows that were basically getting panned and canceled because like they were essentially making rape jokes on air about like Condoleezza Rice, who I think at the time was like the first black female Secretary of State, and I think she was during like the Bush administration, I think.
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys were like basically just making jokes on air. And Patrice came out and Patrice came out and he said that he is trying to defend funny, and in the sense where like, you know, his whole thing was that you could make a joke about anything, but he also said that like there are times that it's not going to be funny, but at the same time he even said like like the one of the, I think the Fox News guy actually asked him like, oh, so you've heard like a funny rape joke? And he just straight up said, yeah, I know a couple. You should see my stand-up special. I have plenty of them. And I think like the climate then and now too, I guess, is it's really, I guess even back then, like the climate was fairly the same, but I guess maybe now it's like a little bit you're like the microscope is just zoomed in like even more now than it ever was, as far as like what you can get away with like saying on air, whether on TV or even on radio or podcast, whatever. Like, it's actually funny though, considering at least in music, you can talk about shooting up other gangbangers, rival gangs, getting pussy, and a bunch of other shit that I guess like in some cases like no fucking rapper like talks about raping.
Insinuates.
Yeah.
Right.
And they don't talk about raping a girl or whatever, but it's just kind of like, you know, there's a lot of stuff in there that makes you go like, oh, like this is a straight up like some songs could just straight up be like violence. But for at least music, it seems as if it like falls under the radar. But, you know, when it comes to TV and shit, it like, you know, like it's even just the microscope's just so like zoomed in for that stuff. But as far as music, it's just kind of like, whatever. Like, they could talk about shooting each other. Who gives a shit? Like, it's like whatever.
It's like the standards are completely different, and I think the reason for that is because it's gauzed under fucking poetry, quote unquote, or that this is my art or whatever.
Yeah, this is my self-expression, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's masked through like you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Like symbolism and, you know, analogies and stuff like that, where the only people you'll ever see who in 2022 still making rape jokes are, you know, some pretty, are just, you know, so either some really shitty comedians who aren't going anywhere, or comedians who are so past the threshold at this point, who are so successful. Exactly.
I feel as if that's if Norm was still alive. I mean, I don't think he would. I don't think he would.
No. He did.
Oh, he did. Okay. Never mind.
But it's okay because it was a tasteful rape joke.
Not to mention, even
you probably think that's impossible, all you like lovely listeners listening to this, all you Gen Zers and millennials. It's Gen Zers and millennials that listen to us, and a couple of boomers, I think.
There's like that.
And I think like one Gen Xer.
Maybe that like one boomer who like heard me like say like kind of borderline like racist shit, and he's like, he got
boomers probably love you.
So he's like, he's got the right idea, and then they find out that like I'm just some like Asian who lives in New Jersey. He's like,
what? He's not white.
Why does he sound white? He sounds white.
No, this was a little bit that Norm Macdonald did on comedians in cars getting coffee. That is Jerry Seinfeld's show, where he pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
He gets comedians, he gets coffee with them. He drives a different car in every episode because he has like fucking
fuck you money,
like $50 million cars,
literal
or
fuck
some
you
shit
money
like that. Oh yeah. And one episode was Norm. He had Norm Macdonald on, and they were talking about Bill Cosby. Is what they were talking about. And they were like, I love this fucking bit. I love this fucking bit. Because Norm, it wasn't even a bit. It was just Norm being Norm.
Yeah.
He didn't give a fuck.
No, he really didn't.
He didn't give
even
a fuck.
Even at the twilight of his life. At the twilight of his life, I think at that point, it just like, he just solidified with him. It's like, if I'm going to die, like within like the next 5 years or whatever. Because like, you know, eventually like he did like kick the bucket. Like he knew, but he didn't tell nobody else. He
didn't give a fuck to telling anybody about his cancer.
He knew internally that, like, if I'm gonna die in the next, like, let's say 3 months, like, fuck it. I don't give a shit. I will say whatever the fuck I want, and I will, like, be remembered for it forever. And I remember, like, one of the nights I was having trouble sleeping. Because, you know when you laugh while you're trying to go to bed? You can't go to bed. You can't go to sleep for the rest of the night. Because I was watching Norm's shit for, like, 2 hours. I just went down the rabbit hole and just, like, saw all of this stuff from, like, Norm Macdonald.
You went down the Normit hole?
I went down the normal hole, and I was watching like a lot of his live show stuff, and one episode in particular was the one that he had with Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson straight up tells him like, say the N-word, say it.
I remember
that.
Say
it, honky. he like slaps him and shit. Like, you know, it's like, say it, fucking cracker. Like, you know, just like trying to get it out of him. And it was like,
and then it's funny how the two of them after that, you know, went on to have a show together.
Yeah, exactly. And like their relationship too, like seeing it, because like, you know, everyone, whoever knows about like Mike Tyson like knows that he had a very like
Mr.
had a very very troubled life after he got out of jail, and especially after his boxing career. Like, and I think a lot of people were saying like this is one of the few times that I'm pretty sure like Mike has been able to actually just like be himself with somebody, because like Norm, at least the vibe that I always got, he always tried to make it like you and me, like us talking right now, like for him, like this is like just us. Like you could say whatever you want and I'm not gonna like judge you for it. Cause like, I mean, Norm, not that he's had like a troubled past and shit. He actually told SNL to go fuck themselves actually one time. Like there was that one moment in his career where like they told him to kind of calm down with a certain joke, and he just doubled down and said it even more and more, and then eventually like he got like fired for it. And then he came back to the show, and they asked him like, oh, and you know how like a lot of SNL hosts, like they always have like that little bit that they have to do before the full show starts. And he said like, I actually got fired for this show. And that either means that this show sucks or I'm funny or like I'm still funny. So it's like, and then
both.
He like just, I mean, SNL, for all its faults, like they've had their fair share of like I say troublesome hosts. I mean, Bill Burr like had that whole bit where like he straight up said, I wish COVID took more people so the traffic would open up more. And like
I knew that's why you kept saying that.
It was, dude,
I knew it had to be a fucking Bill Burrism, you cuck.
I
knew it.
I agreed with it. I know, but I also agreed with it wholeheartedly.
You fucking Asian
even
bastard.
Even right now, like I don't think a lot of people, especially since like what the fuck, Byron be like trying to get everyone going back into work, and especially for anyone who has long commutes right now, and with the way gas prices are, it's like, bro, I don't even give a fuck. Like I will like die on this work from home hill, and I hope like, not that I hope you die on that hill literally, but I hope that at least like people still stand their ground on that, because dude, it's ridiculous right now, these prices.
May I very quickly, before that was a beautiful segue into our next topic. May I quickly say the rape joke that Norm Macdonald said?
Oh yeah, go ahead. I want to hear this.
Because it's not the kind of thing where he's trying to be offensive like towards rape victims or women or anything like that. Like not trying to be like that incel side of the spectrum, like women lie for attention. This is what I mean when I say it was a tasteful rape joke. Listen, he's on comedians in cars getting coffee. They're talking about Bill Cosby, because I think this was when he recently, like the allegations were basically confirmed. And Jerry's talking to Norm. It's like, I think the worst thing about the whole thing is just the sheer hypocrisy, like the betrayal of Bill Cosby. He was just such, he portrayed such wholesome character, and like so many, with so many like different like life lessons and stuff, just like for him to just go back on, essentially going back on that from like being essentially the monster that he was behind closed doors. I just
early
think that's
on
awful.
too. Yeah.
And Norm, in response to that, said, I think the worst thing about it was the raping. I think that's probably the worst part about it, Jerry. Not the fact that he was a hypocrite about it.
And a national tragedy,
You're right. You're right, Jerry. I think it would have at least been a little more better if he just went like, I love raping. This is my specialty. I love raping, behind closed doors, because he was a rapist. But, I think the worst part is that he wasn't honest about it.
There was a great bit.
So Norm, our goat.
Our goat. Yeah, there's definitely one of mine. Like after recently looking through a lot of his stuff, like I'm like, damn, this dude was fucking hilarious. And like I hear in a lot of other comedians, like hearing their interactions with him, like even old Billy Bitch Tits, like thing when he never really like got to know him too much from what I remember from him talking about him, because like I think Bill also has a podcast, as everyone knows, and he I think the couple days after Norm had passed, he like talked about some stories that he had about when he met him, but like they never were really close. But like Norm would always say like, yo, Bill Burr, he's a funny man, like he's a funny man, and would like tell everyone like if you haven't gone and watched him, like go and watch him, like he's great. And there was this one joke that I remember he said on his live show. I always just call it the live show because it's just like Norm Macdonald live, and I just call it the live show. And like when he there was like this one bit he was talking with one of his co-hosts, and it was about 9/11, and he's like, and they were like going back and forth on it. And I think that 9/11 was a national tragedy. And he just stares at him, and like the guy's just dying laughing because he doesn't know how to react. And he's like, "Why are you laughing?" And like he did it. The co-host has no idea what to do because like he's like trying so hard like not to laugh. But then Norm is he just stares at him like just unblinking. He's just like, "Why are you laughing?" It wasn't funny. As he's just like this, like, I don't know what to do in his mind. But that's enough about old Norm. We miss you. I think that goes without saying.
Mm-hmm.
But we have some.
Now it's time for old Boe.
Yeah, we have some news updates as far as like. I guess the Russia-Ukrainian war, that at least in the state side of things. Old Byren has decided to ban...
Who?
Byren!
Who?
Byren! Has decided to ban imports going into Russia, which David had some thoughts on this that he wanted to share. So, David, you may take le floor and talk about it.
I just think, I just thought it was interesting, right? Because, and I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not defending old Boe on this decision, because it's going to sound like I'm defending him. I'm not. This is a decision where he was just fucked either way.
Explain. I want to hear this.
He was just fucked either way. Because I feel like, and who knows, I could be wrong maybe, that this was really much more of like a purely political decision than meets the eye. Mm-hmm. And here's why I say that. It's because one of the things that he says, or he's at least acknowledged inflation once or twice, says he wants to sign something into law about, but not the crypto thing that I sent you earlier.
Yeah.
Though I do think that's really interesting too.
Mm-hmm.
And he's addressed inflation before. Says he wants to do something about it, as he probably won't. But gas prices, as Dennis mentioned earlier, are pretty damn high, and that screws over some poorer people, as you probably know. And it screws over a lot of people, or just hurts them in a way that they don't need to be hurt. So what happened here is that Biden banned imports. He banned
gas imports coming into from Russia.
From Russia.
I fucked that up. I said like imports going into Russia. I'm so fucking scattered brain.
Yeah, you an importer. You an importer, exporter.
I import people because I'm Chinese.
Oh, I thought that was a Russian thing.
Go ahead.
Anyway, so basically what this means is that like we're not going to be getting oil from Russia at the very least during this conflict, and because the cause under that is that Biden doesn't want to, fucking support them. And here's where he was fucked either way. If he chose to do nothing and just let this be the way it is, people would call Biden, either a commie or like a hypocrite or something like that. They'll be like, why are you supporting
He's in bed
Russia?
with the fascists. Yeah, like stuff like that.
Why are you still supporting Russia by buying their oil and stuff like that? They would have called him, either a hypocrite for that or, just like a fascist or whatever for doing that. However, by doing so, gas prices are going to go up again, probably. Even more so than they already are.
Yeah, given the coming weeks, like, I mean, the last couple of days, they went from some places I saw like $3.70 to like now straight up just $4 for just a regular.
I saw some that were $5.
On the highways,
not for regular, yeah. Not for
I saw on Route 17 on the highway, yeah. A lot of those highway spots, they're like, just fuck it. Like, they're like $5 and something. $5 and change for a gallon.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. My buddy get like $10 and it hardly filled up his tank. A lot of people, rightfully so, are pretty pissed at old Boe for this, but the reason that I think it's so interesting is because he was just fucked either way. If he did nothing, people would say he's supporting, Russia. He's like buying oil from them. However, by doing this, it's like, yeah, he's not supporting Russia or whatever, which would make him look better, but he is now fucking over the average American.
Yeah.
By increasing gas prices even more, which is a head-ass thing to do since they were already rising even more as they were.
By the war's start, basically.
This was a decision where he probably looked at this and he just said,
"There's no winning.
You son of a bitch."
Basically.
Because he was just fucked.
Way, you're right. There really was.
I think he made the political decision. You know what I mean? And the worst part is that I'm pretty sure, his account tweeted something about, masking it, saying, oh, this is a call to get all people to buy electric vehicles and stuff like that. Which, to me, in the long scheme of things, I agree with.
Yeah,
in practicality, it's like saying the way to stop all teen pregnancies is to get them to all stop fucking. You know what I mean? The best way to stop mass shootings in America is to get rid of all the guns. The best way to stop people from fucking shooting up heroin in the street is, guess what? Just get rid of all the heroin.
It's
all three tasks. Not exactly easier said than done.
It's its own monster.
I should say.
All three of those issues, as well, are its own monsters too, and
exactly.
It's more complicated than people would like to admit. It's not just as simple as just you want to stop school shootings, just take all the guns and get rid of the NRA. No, it's not that simple. As a lot of other issues within this country, it's not just gonna just be fixed overnight. And I also low key if I was his staff, just kind of sitting there watching him to just mull this over, just because I bet you they gave him both 2 folders and basically said, look, we can keep getting their oil because right now all of our oil prices across the country are all gas prices are just going up all over the place. And he says on the other side of the table there's the other folder saying that we ban their imports coming into here. And it'll show to the international community and us that we stand by Ukraine and we don't deal with fascists. But at the same time, we're also fucked anyways because there's really nowhere else that we're getting this oil to begin with. And I mean, as far as this issue goes, again, we're not experts, guys. We're two on a podcast. Don't get your current events from us. This is just kind of our thoughts on it because as of at least right now, I ain't driving because at the very least, my car is still not insured at the moment. And right now, I'm definitely not getting it insured because my car takes premium. And I can't imagine, kind of paying premium gas fucking prices right now, at the moment. So, at the very least, I'm kind of glad I'm not driving at the moment. And I mean, glad in the sense that, look, people's paychecks are no matter depending on where you look, and the average American their minimum wage is shit. Depending on where you live, it's just utter shit. And on top of that, I think someone drew up a comparison where if you are working as let's say a fast food worker, and their wages aren't obviously the best, dude, you're paying about 70% of your fucking wage just to pay for gas to get to work.
I have a friend who drives 40 minutes to get to work, and she was pissed about this, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Rightfully fucking so, man. This is why I kind of disagree with this. I'm not. It's such a hard decision to make, I would imagine, but it just feels pretty much purely political, and they're using the electric car thing as just sort of a justification for it, among other things, and the fact that they're not supporting, Russia and Putin essentially being a fascist. So it just. I mean, especially with how old this fucker is, especially with how old, old Boe Jiden is, this feels like something that he did as sort of a old-timey, good old Uncle Sam political decision. Be this guy doesn't support fascists. I'm gonna vote for him again in 2024 and vote Democrat since he's a Democrat, rather than...
Do you think he wants to, look, we're not basing this off of anything. This is just our thoughts on it. Do you really think he wants to get reelected? Because
whether he wants to or not, I don't know, but he announced he was going to run again with Kamala.
I mean, well, you can't just say, oh, I'm not running again. if I think.
Well, you can.
No, but like he still has one more term left until like after that. It's like, well, you're done now. Like now, like after those 2 terms, like you're fucked. Like you gotta bring in your replacement after that.
Let me go historian Dennis with you right here. Has there ever been a president who just didn't? There's never been a president who just didn't want to serve a second term, right? And just didn't run for re-election. I want to say no.
Historically, I'm at least thinking back of the big ones. Because there have been ones that basically went past the 2 terms just because, like, well, there was, like, circumstances, like, basically said that we needed them.
Yeah, FDR served 3, didn't he?
Yeah, so, Washington wanted to leave after the first one, but he got coerced and kind of... I felt, like, low-key bad for him because, like, he got, like, really peer pressured, like, by everybody to serve another term, even though all he wanted to do after the first one was just to fuck off and go to his farm. Because he just wanted to rest after, I would say, having a very eventful life as going from a commander-in-chief of an army that was basically on the verge of losing against an enemy that looked as if, by all accounts on paper, looked as if they were going to kick their ass, wins and then becomes the leader of that same nation, even gets told, oh, you should be our king. But he went on to say, like, no, we're not bringing the monarchy to the United States.
His foresight was the way it was for a reason.
Yeah. And
so,
I guess historically, no. I don't think there has ever been a president. Maybe there is, like, because there's been, like, 49 of them so far. And I guess 50 now? Because Biden's the 50th, I think. Is he the 50th?
Oh, he the 46th.
He the 46th? Oh, okay. So,
yeah.
I wonder who the 50th is going to be. God, I hope it's a young dude. Like, kind of Obama's age or something. Like, we need a young guy, man. Like, fuck. Like,
real shit, just... I mean, he's probably not going to be too young by this point, but... Bill...
You're going to have, like, a literal corpse as a
Do it for us, man. Do it for us, Bill.
God,
Bill Burr, 2050, whatever.
A fucking ghoul of a president.
So I guess we'll move on.
Yeah, from there. As far as
before, I don't know if I agree with this decision. It's so tight.
No, it's just way too, like, there's layers upon layers of this that, like, literally
Biden, like I said, was fucked either way.
Yeah, like
he was gonna look good to some people and gonna look shitty to others. But I feel like this decision was political.
Yeah, I think
he just
so
didn't
too,
want to look like he was supporting the fascists.
Yeah, because
even
that's
though
the
it's kind of a head ass
right now.
decision because it's raising already ridiculously high gas prices.
Which
it's had to have been such a hard decision. I'm gonna be real.
I will, yeah. As far as, like, I don't really give a fuck about Joe to begin with, but, like, I think even as far as, like, thinking about, like, certain decisions that world leaders have to make, as far as, like, stuff like this, where in this scenario the inflation's already going crazy right now, and as far as even, like, it affecting gas prices, which is essentially, like, a car for a lot of people is like their main mode of transportation, especially depending on where you live. Like, if you live in New York, it's like you don't really give a fuck because it's like, oh, like, I take the bus and train to go wherever I need to. But you live in New Jersey where, like, you have to literally either go through 80, 95, or 17 or 3 to go to, like, your job, wherever it may be. Like, you have no choice. You have to you have to drive. And for people like that, yeah, like, this is, like, I think there really was no easy decision as far as that goes too. Like, it's like one of the few times that I think I'll even admit, like, that there really was no right decision. As far as, like, there wasn't a decision where he could have made where everyone was happy, because it was either way gonna affect him and the rest of the people, like, one way or another. And it's like, yeah, I bet Tesla drivers are just, like, so over the moon right now. They're like, yo, I don't gotta pay these shitty prices. Like, all they gotta do is just plug in their car, and then that's it. Like, that's all they gotta do. All you guys out there who have EVs of any kind, like, that was with hindsight, this was a great decision on your part, because if you bought a Tesla before all this shit happened, like, dude, you're doing pretty well, I feel.
Yeah.
But for all the other people, yeah, like, it's just, like, it's unfortunate. Cause, like, anyone who has to take the car, like, they're fucked. Like, and I know for a fact, people, like, yeah, I mean, and a lot of, like, these places that they go to, as far as their job, they're not gonna fucking increase their pay in light of all this shit. Like, no, I'm gonna say, oh, you're gonna eat it, and you're gonna like just eat that shit sandwich because because we're not gonna like raise your wage. Hell no. None of these places are gonna do that to like kind of help with the increasing gas prices. No, they're not gonna do that.
Yeah, and reflective of that, I guess we could talk about this for a bit. Man, we really fucking. What do we got? Like half hour? Yeah,
in? we got 30 minutes in. Yeah.
Oh, scheisse.
What?
Okay. I guess this is sort of I mean, not related. This is another thing that old Byren did recently.
Who?
That Byren. Byren. Yeah. Apparently, he's taking steps towards regulating cryptocurrencies. Says he signed an executive order. This is I'm just reading this off the New York Times, that would coordinate efforts among financial regulators to better understand the risks and opportunities presented by digital assets. This doesn't come as a surprise to me, but I want to say that I'm really happy about it. I feel like any dumbass NFTards or crypto crackers would probably come up maybe say, oh, you guys are so against inflation. Why are you against people getting their bag like this, like to try to get around it? You want this shit to be regulated more? And I'm like, my humble response to that is whenever I go on Twitter, and every single time I go on Twitter now, in my feed, I see a promoted tweet from a brand new crypto website for you to store your wallets and your NFTs and your ETH and your various cryptocurrencies, a different company every time that does the exact same thing, claims to be the best place to trade and sell your crypto, and 90% of the time in the comments of those promoted tweets, it's somebody complaining about how they lost all their assets in there or got locked out of their account and can't get it back from these websites. That is my humble response to you on that front. Every time there's a new one, every time it's just a fly-by-night Ponzi scheme. And it's at least comforting to know that the government has caught on to that. For me, because at the same, comforting or uncomforting depending on who you ask. Because a lot of the people who get into these NFTs at hearts, they claim they're like libertarians or whatever, or feel like they're like that because they want no regulations. But then they cry foul when, people like screenshot their NFTs or their NFTs get stolen or, all sorts of different kinds of stuff. And then they learn why these regulations exist in the first place. So this is more so about the contours of a rapidly innovating industry that has swiftly become mainstream, as we all know. But that's the thing. Obviously, you hear me criticizing it. This crypto bullshit enables illegal and illicit activity and creates huge financial risks, not just for, consumers, but for the economy. It's something
the
big
world
like
economy, like, as well. Because, like, the entire world is, like, even getting on board with crypto. Like, fucking Ukraine is taking, like, donations in crypto. So it's like, I always thought that it has
this came. I hate to interrupt you.
Yeah,
it says the order comes amid concerns that Moscow will use cryptocurrency to evade punishing sanctions issued by the U.S. government
continue
over
financing
the
the
Russians.
war. Yeah.
So the Cold War never ended.
No.
That's the only reason the government's doing anything about crypto is because the Russians are using it?
Well, I mean,
real?
Russia's also, like, one of the biggest geopolitical, like, kind of, like, not a threat, I guess, but unfriendly entity.
Describe Russia in the same, economically, in the same way that you describe really vicious animals. I want you to say, like, Russia is this big, crypto geopolitical NFT. Fuck you, fuck you, ethno state.
You put me on the spot here. Like, I don't know. I think
Russia's basically this big geopolitical crypto NFT farming. Fuck you, geopolitical state.
Well, I mean, they are like they're like one of the biggest countries that have built those crypto farms, like, across, like, next to China. They're, like, I think some of, like, the biggest ones. And Russia definitely is, like, a very, it's like a big fuck you bear, like, that just, like, is hoarding over their money right now, because it's just like, we always call Russia the bear, and, like, people called the United States the giant because, like, we were the giant that slept during World War II until we got woken up by Japan. Fucking poked the bee's nest. It was just like, hey, wake up now. There's a world war.
Sleeping dragon, yeah.
And it was, what do you call it? Right now, and the way at least I think of Russia in regards to, what do you call it? The current climate right now, and as far as even like maybe like perhaps, God fucking damn it, fucking stop.
What is that notification?
Stop it! It was from my cousin. She was messaging me.
Okay.
I have to tell. I'm recording a podcast. Stop. Stop.
Mom.
Mom.
I'm recording my podcast.
There have been times where I straight up sounded like that because, like, remember that whole time when my fucking dryer was just like on the fucking fritz, and I told her, like, you have to turn off the dryer. It's too loud. I can't hear. But it's like Russia, like, always has been that really unfriendly entity in the sense that, like, we've gotten cyber hacked from them multiple times over the years. I can't exactly name all the fucking instances, but everyone knows, at least, like, if you've read back on the news every now and then, like, we even had a president who was accused of colluding with them. Right. So, I mean, they've always been an unfriendly entity, at least as far as the Russian government was concerned. Like,
by the way, did you hear what Trump said recently?
No, I did not. I've been trying to not read the news for a while, at least for the week.
I know. I heard about this from my mom and my dad. He said America should simply bomb the ever-loving shit out of Russia and just put the Chinese flag on the MiGs.
On the MiGs?
Like on the jet fighters. You know what I mean?
Oh. What the fuck?
Genius. Yeah, so, absolutely.
Geopolitical genius.
Give this guy a Nobel Prize. Bro, way up there. He straight up said we should just do a fucking false flag operation.
Oh, you goofy motherfucker. Hey. You goofy old man. He even tried to fucking launch his own social media platform, and it was buggy as shit on launch. My God, dude. Like, yo, you gotta know when.
This country was so much better with Trump, man. Ever shit's going downhill with Biden. I agree. We should just bomb the shit out of fucking Russians. Said the Chinese did it. Like, what the fuck?
Talking specifically about the guy, bro. I know you probably don't watch this podcast. Your time under the sun is over. Just take the bag.
Despite your orange exterior.
Yeah, take the bag that you stole from all of your constituents and just go off into the twilight of your life and fuck your ex-porn star of a wife and just leave. Just go. Just leave, bro. Your time is done. Like, until next election, I don't want to hear about you, bro. Like,
I don't want to hear about him during the next election.
He's probably gonna run anyways again. Like, I feel like
we'll see.
He's like, I bet you he's just probably gonna like come. He probably is thinking that he's gonna go to the GOP, and he thinks he's gonna whip out his dick and just slam it onto the table and think,
you need like a fucking triangle in like a band.
It's like he's like, you know you need me. You know you need me. You need people like me. You need people like me. You can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
America missed your daddy. Fuck. Well, whatever.
Well, yeah. So, I'm not going any more into this just because like this is another rabbit hole that I feel as if like we could go down very far. And as far as at least I guess my bit of thoughts on it, I felt as if, as far as crypto, like getting at least the attention. I mean, I think it always had the attention of the U.S. government as far as like its presence right now. I think they realize now. I think a lot of people realized a bit earlier, but I think the U.S. government now has finally realized that this shit is not going away anytime soon. Because everyone thought when Bitcoin first came out during like the early 2000s that, oh, it's just a meme, it'll die out. Like, what the fuck, digital currency? Oh, that's stupid. That's like fucking Tron type shit. Like, you know, there's like the like real like kind of pipe dream for all these like tech nerds. Like, at least that's what they thought. Right. But it's been now 13 years of this shit. And they realize, okay, like we have final concrete proof that this is not going anywhere. This is here to stay. As far as like it as a currency and its international impact on the world economy, this shit's here to stay. And now they're beginning to think like, okay, like now we have to like, we know that this is here to stay. We have to now realize like what its actual impact is. Like we got to send in I don't know what the fuck, the SEC's version of like a private investigator or some shit or whatever, like to kind of see like what, you know, what is the impact of it as far as like going further now. Because like, again, and I actually stand by this, it is here to stay. Crypto's not going anywhere. I really wouldn't
be as salty towards it if it wasn't just like, you know, this. I do think this is good because
no, I think it is good too. But
yeah,
it's just like my whole thing is that like you know how the government like always takes so fucking long for a lot of shit. Like you know when it comes to decisive action, when it comes to wars. Oh yeah, bro. Like dude, yeah, fuck it. Like we're going in. Like no worries. We're sending weapons. Like we're gonna get that shit done like real quick. But when it comes to shit that like kind of has to pertain to the country itself, like that always takes a long time, historically speaking. And as far as this goes, like I think this is just like the U.S. government running on U.S. government time. And for them, they think like, oh, like, you know, crypto was never that big of a, at least they thought it wasn't going to be that big of a presence. But I think after at least like shit like Bitcoin jumped to like the 5 figures, I think that's when they were like, okay, we're going to pay attention to this now. And now that they're seeing that an entire country is starting to shift and pivot to having crypto, an unfriendly nation at that, like having crypto to finance this war of theirs, now they're starting to think, okay, like I feel as if they kind of seen the impact of it and maybe said, if we could get in on that as well, like if like we could have another set of currency, which is also still backed by like essentially like US dollars. You know,
it's not worth anything unless it's compared to actual money. Still.
Yeah, so that's why it's still contingent on that. But if I think for them, they're starting to maybe think like, oh, maybe we could do that.
Like I'm looking at you, just like swiveling around in your chair right there.
Yeah.
In your room, with your fucking bed in the background with a hoodie, just laying there, bopping up your little blue Yeti on top of like your fucking setup and everything. And I'm thinking to myself, this is what a fucking Bitcoin billionaire looks like. And I am not impressed. You know what I mean? Like, and I am not impressed. He looks like me. He looks like you.
He's an everyday person. He really is.
Yeah, he doesn't look like this pompous billionaire type or whatever. He's an everyday dude. Yeah, he has this much in this. If it's worth that much, technically that's his like net worth, quote unquote. It doesn't look like it though, because he doesn't have the actual money. And if he fucking puts it all in this blockchain that somebody can anonymously log into, take their shit in some bad trade-off deal or whatever, and then just simply delete your account.
Yeah,
you can't be found and everything.
And your wallet is also just like your digital wallet is like just off the fucking grid forever.
All of a sudden it looks like you really were never actually a millionaire, and the whole time you never looked like one either.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So anybody who says this is bad is either just wants to do their shitty little scams or whatever where they think they can get rich off of it,
if you want,
or not, because this is good, because people lose their shit in crypto all the time and then cry that there are no regulations when it comes to these things the second the bad things happen to them. So It's not even just good for, I guess, those people. I think it'll be good for, like, the long term of the world economy in general, because obviously it's not going to go anywhere if it has some sort of regulations. Maybe it'll help to actually stimulate instead of just be this thing used for, like, fucking fly-by-night Ponzi schemes instead, which is good, because that's, you know, pretty much the main reason I hate NFTs as much as I do, besides the fact that they're lazy in a way to make, like, you know, free money off of doing essentially nothing. At the very least, if they're regulated like regular money is, then maybe some things will help. If anything, maybe they'll lose value a little bit. Crypto, bit of a different story. Yeah. But yeah, that's why why I think this is a good thing.
I think so too.
If it takes the fucking second age of the Cold War to do it, fine by me.
Might be one of the few good things that came out of like that whole war to begin with.
True.
Like I mean, sir, a lot of innovations have also, like, a lot of changes in our country to have happened because of war to begin with. So
goes to show how out of touch our fucking politicians are. That, like, it took for them to act on this. It took for them to act on this. Just imagine, like, the fucking boardroom that they got going up in there, right? Like, all these people losing all of their life savings in this stupid little shitty online internet scam or whatever because they spent too much on a picture of a fucking monkey in, like, a Mario hat. It's stupid. They don't see that as a problem, as like all these like rapid Ponzi schemes happening. They're just probably like, yeah, these are just fucking the average American idiot putting all their money into something that they claim they understand, but they don't, and just losing it all in this fucking scam or whatever. But the Russians, oh shit, no, we gotta do something about the whole Ivan's coming to get us, and Biden probably raised his fucking fist in the air, fucking geriatric prick, had to like hit his aide to like lift it up for him, like to reach above his head in the board meeting. I was like, ladies and gentlemen, we are gonna beat the Russians, and they all started cheering. It's
like with crypto.
That's what it took. That's what it took for you to do something about these fucking crypto scams. Because Ivan doing it instead. That's what it took. If that doesn't show how out of fucking touch
and how much
our politicians are. Yeah. If that does not show how out of touch our politicians are, Dennis, that the fact that the only reason they did something about this was because they were fucking scared of the Russians. Again, I don't know what will.
It how it be, bro. Like, I felt as if, like, you know, looking back, I guess, like, I don't really think they would have really. Maybe it would have taken longer, but I don't think it would have been as soon as it was done now, as far as them trying to now, like, realize, like Biden giving an executive order to go and regulate it, or at least go and fully understand it more. I don't think that would have happened until much later if it wasn't for this war. And also them realizing that the Russians, like, are using crypto themselves to, like, finance the fucking thing, so.
Yeah. The only thing I knew was that bill that passed in the House that said they were going to start taxing NFTs at the start of next January. That's the only thing that I know that they did. Like, it's going to be another year of, like, the dumb monkey bullshit, and the dumb monkey bullshit will still exist to some extent. I still firmly believe that once that shit starts getting taxed, the people who are at, like, you know, the bottom of the barrel who are left holding it might just be that. And they might just be
they might also get, like, a fucking gun and point it to their mouths and, like, just shoot and kill themselves at that point.
And God knows, like, they're still going to be able to get one pretty easily.
That point.
And this, So that's what I think about that. I think that's two of my topics that I did, though. Those are two of mine. But you want to talk about? Do you want to? I gotta say though, you take such wonderful initiative for our little baby that you and I have created, sending us notes, running to Instagram. Which I've been talking to some people recently. I gotta give a quick shout out to fucking Frank that I met at the kiosk the other night. He asked me for my Instagram. I'm like, I have my podcast Instagram. You can follow that. He just told me he loved my vibes and everything. Bought 6 cubes from me. Hey. That was a lot of goddamn money. Frank, you're a real one. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you haven't turned it off already about 50 minutes in. Shout outs to you, my friend. I don't think I'm getting your name wrong. I'm pretty sure you said your name was Frank. If I'm not, you can, I don't know, send me, and by me I mean Dennis, an angry message on the Insta. So
David,
but we share the account. So
this was David's plan all along. He was using me as the front man, unless they specifically I guess specify us, like either you or me. I'd be like, I'm just gonna like tell David, like, if a message comes in and he's like, David, you are a fucking asshole, I hate you and hate this podcast, I'm just gonna screen cap that and just send it to David, and just like, David, this is for you. If they don't mention me, I just send it to David.
Wouldn't be the first time.
But
I'm looking to the left at like the topic sheet that you listed, And it's just so fucking funny.
What?
Because I'm just like, here we go. Biden bans imports into Russia. F-Zero X is coming to Switch, and that's probably all the F-Zero fans are going to be getting. And then the next topic just says, David's ankle hurts. It's just like, if you look at this out of context, you're going to be like, what kind of podcast?
Look, it's been a rough couple of days. I recently also passed half of my certification exam for my CompTIA A+, so your boy's half an IT support expert. I've basically gotten the knowledge. I just can't do the Indian voice yet until I get the second part. So y'all have to hold up on that. But I have myself a couple of topics today that I want to talk about before our show ends today. At least one of them being, I have gotten rid of my Reddit. I got rid of my Reddit account. And it has been, I think my girlfriend said it the best. Like, you're going to realize you have so much free time now. Like, you're going to have no idea what the fuck to do now that you got rid of your Reddit. And it, low key, I mean, last night I got rid of it. And then, I'm going to go into this for a little bit. Like, I got rid of it, right? Deactivated and everything. And I absent-mindedly just went on reddit.com and I'm like, oh wait, I don't have an account.
Yeah, dude, how are you gonna upvote your favorite bad 2-sentence horror anymore? How the hell are you, dude?
Where am I gonna get my memes? Where am I gonna get my memes?
Dude, how are you gonna fucking get into arguments with people about women grinding up on other dudes at the club when they're with their boyfriend with absolutely zero context to the video and probably completely made up on the spot because of a person's own personal insecurities? How are you going to comment your very important opinion on those videos that you're probably going to forget within a week? Answer me that. How are you going to upvote your favorite anti-work stories, Dennis?
I never upvoted anti-work stories.
Well, now you can't.
I just read them. And I just went, oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah, me too.
I never upvoted.
How are you gonna save your favorite porn subreddits? Because that's all I use Reddit for. Real shit. That's all I use Reddit for.
Real shit too. I remember Reddit actually had an outage yesterday. Believe it or not, like for like a couple minutes. And I went on this one site that basically has like a live feed of like whenever Reddit does have like an outage, and they have comments underneath. And the guy's like, yo, bro, I'm just trying to jack off, man. I'm like, I wish I could like comment back and be like, yo, facts, bro. But like I think for me, Reddit was it's not the same as the same reasons as to like why I got rid of Facebook and even my Instagram, in the sense that it was a bit of a what do you call it? Like it was still a time sink. It was as far as if I could clock how many hours that I'd be on Reddit like every day, like it probably would be an obscene amount. And it was starting to slowly become a time sink as far as the compared to even like Facebook and Instagram. It was starting to get to the same level of like where I'm just like I feel as if like I just have to go on it. And I was paying so much attention to it, and plus, like, I have this second part of the exam that I'm trying to take by the end of this month, and I gotta like dedicate all the time that I can to it, and I just made an executive decision. It was just like, yeah, like don't need it no more. Like, was decisive.
Executive decision.
Yeah, executive decision. It just kind of just said like, fuck it. Like, I don't.
Good on you.
I don't.
Good on you, mate. Honestly.
I mean, I still get my porn. Like, I'll still go on the Reddit and like not, I guess, like have an account. Like, I'm not gonna like fucking comment or whatever. But like, it's like I could still visit the subreddits. I don't give a shit. So it's like,
I bet you and your girl are gonna become even closer than you two already are.
We already pretty close though. Like,
no, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And I think you two are gonna become even closer than the already closeness that you got, because now. She's the only upvote you'll be upvoting.
That was a terrible joke, David.
I don't know where I was going with it.
I give you a 6 out of 10.
It doesn't matter because you don't have a Reddit account, motherfucker. You can't download it anymore. Eat a dick.
But moving on from that now.
Yeah, good on you. Good on you.
yeah.
I will say real quick though, because honestly, I do think social media has done a lot of good. I'm not going to go into that huge topic, but I do think it does a lot of bad. And Reddit is toxic in a whole different way than Twitter. We had that debate however many months ago on another episode of the show. So honestly, participating in that less is great. The only time I ever open up Reddit is when I'm going to jack off, but then it goes to the home page, right?
Yeah.
It goes to the home page, and
Yeah.
I just wound up clicking the shit, and I start reading it. It's designed to be addictive, like any social media platform is. Reddit, though, is just YouTube commenters who think they have legitimacy because they use Reddit instead of YouTube, which YouTube comments are now even for bots.
Like, Redditors think that they're any different from fucking Facebook people, and also, or I guess meta fags now, like, and also Twitters, like, and Twitterers. I don't know what the fuck they call themselves. Never been on that platform, but like, as far as like, they think that they're any different from them because they, like as you said, as David so eloquently put it, they think they have like legitimacy and whatever the fuck they're talking about on that platform because it's Reddit. But
yeah, besides like the Me Too movement and fucking, the GameStop thing where they like, just raised the stock of GameStop artificially, as they say. What actual impact, what change have you people fucking made from your little basements?
And that, as well as also like, it's, I don't know, like I feel as if like, I guess I'm just coming to that point in my life where like, I just can't afford to have like any more distractions as far as that goes, because like right now, like, I'm at the crossroads, motherfucker, and like, I'm trying to like get this exam done so I could like, get the job that I want.
Yeah, and, I feel you.
So
like,
like,
I actually do feel you. I'm in a similar situation right now where my mom actually just kind of roasted me about an hour or two ago, and I didn't want to talk about it because I didn't want to raise her blood pressure for reasons that you might understand. She just thinks my job like isn't worth it, and low key it's not. But they're desperate to keep me, so I know I could squeeze some good stuff out of them once I'm off my parents' health insurance. But at the same time, I don't know if it'll be enough. I'd love to do something like be like a radio host or something like that, but I've applied to some of that. Is that really something you just apply to? You know what I mean? Like, my mom's like, oh, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And my mom's not the kind of person to ever, like, be like, when are you going to do something with your life? She's not like that at all. Like, she's easygoing. She's
just
kind,
concerned
she
for you.
believes in me. Yeah, she just, I stand up a lot at my job. You know how they are. So I totally understand what you mean by that in terms of wanting to minimize the distractions. That's one of many reasons why I stopped competing in Smash Brothers and stuff. Now I feel like I'm a much more, life is like, not linear. The path to success is very ragged, but I at least am more confident in myself and like know who I am a lot more and the things that I want to or should do. So I'm allowing myself to like do some of the old stuff that I used to do as long as I'm able to moderate my time. But so I understand where you're coming from as far as you saying like, you want to minimize those kind of distractions, because stuff like, I will admit, stuff like just browsing Twitter or just browsing Reddit, ultimate time wasters. They're the ultimate time wasters, man. And people say your money is more important than your time. Your money, you can always, in some way or another, you can make back.
Time is a finite currency in your life, and it is the most precious fucking thing. I mean, money's also good too, because like, I need food to live and shit. But like, as far as time goes, like, that's stuff you ain't gonna ever get back. Like, you can make money. OnlyFans proved it. You can just spread your ass cheeks and then that's it. Like, boom, you got money. But
hey, if you got the ass cheeks,
but yeah, you gotta have like nice ass cheeks though. I feel as
which
if
anyone can get by doing squats. I mean,
that and also like you need to get rid of the hair that's inevitably down.
Of course,
there. Yeah. So you need to have like a clean asshole. But like,
shaving the asshole. Oh, that's gotta be so scary.
You're about to get into like asshole talk right now. But my whole point is that you could make money. It is possible. Like, OnlyFans did prove it. But time is, again, like some shit that you are never going to get back. Period. In this life. In any other life. Unless, like, I don't know, if someone finds the way to immortality. I don't know. I'd be 50-50 on, like, if someone told me, like, okay, Dennis, you have to take this potion. You will live forever. But, like, you will not age. Like, you will be the same as you are now. Would you rather take, David, an immortality potion or a potion that will extend your life to an obscene amount? Like, you will die, but it'll take thousands, if not fucking tens of thousands of years for it to finally catch up to you and then you die.
I don't know.
If
so scary.
David, if I'm gonna be real, I think I would take the potion that would extend my life, and then I'll eventually die. Because I think immortality, like, dude.
What about when the sun explodes?
That's what I mean. Die. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I feel as if, like, if I'm at the twilight of my years, by the time the sun explodes, like, I'll be like, you know what? I lived a good life. I lived for 10,000 years. Fuck it. Why not? Like, let the sun explode. I don't give a shit. Like, because at that point,
if you still don't die.
If I still don't die, I would be pissed. I would be fucking pissed.
You're just floating in the cosmos.
Yeah, like just seeing all like the planetary debris like just floating everywhere. Oh, that used to be the Statue of Liberty over there. And you just see like all this shit that you like grew up with and everything just like all like just floating in space. And the only point of warmth that you have is the fucking sun. Dude, I don't care how long it would take. I would space swim to the fucking sun and hope to God if it
But it exploded.
Oh yeah, you're right. Oh, I guess I'm fucked then.
Yeah, you'd have to swim. You'd have to swim to another planet in like a whole different galaxy.
Or another like fucking solar system at that point.
Yeah, you would literally have to like swim to another solar system.
Yeah, I'd be fucked. I don't know which one would you take though, hypothetically.
I'd take the same one that you did. I don't want to live forever.
It's like 10,000 years, right? I think that's a good number.
Even that 10,000 years, I wouldn't want to fucking do. That's a long time. That's really long time. But obviously, this is a would you rather. I have to pick one. Okay, we're having this debate then, I guess. Oh, fuck. Hour in. This is what we're doing.
No. Boy. It's just like a simple hypothetical. But because there was one more other... we have this one question from a viewer that we have to basically answer later. But another thing that I guess I just wanted to talk about real quick before we get to the question in our affiliates.
Elden Ring.
That, and I guess just a little bit. Me and David, we may be doing a movie style review podcast because lately, at least, there's not really been a lot of good movies out, low key. Like, a lot of it's been shit for the last like 4 months.
I want to see Belfast. That movie looks really good.
Yeah, I want to watch that. And like, there's this one, I guess like action movie. It's like about like the Japanese bullet train. Brad Pitt and it's pretty star-studded, like the cast as far as it went. When I saw the trailer, so I might want to go watch that together. But the Batman, the new one that had recently come out, I've been hearing good things, and I know me and David, we already said that we were going to be doing a bit of a movie review type thing. When Sonic
Nintendo loved it, and he is the biggest Batman fan in the world. He's very uppity about his Batman, if something is, good or not. Dark Knight is one of his favorite movies. He Dark Knight Rises, I think, is okay to him, but he's one of those people who still thinks the sequel obviously wasn't as good.
Paled in comparison.
Yeah, and I agree with that take, even though you know how much I love Burn. And he loved it. He loved the Batman, he said. So I'm like, okay, wow. All right. Okay. Not that he's like, his opinion is the end all be all, you know what I mean? Yeah. But this guy.
Well, within our circle, and within David's circle, he
eats, sleeps, breathes, sucks, and fucks Batman. So, Riz loved it too. I know, shout outs to all of them. And like, again, it's a long movie too. So if they loved it, like, wow. Because again, my first thought was, Robert Pattinson. And even Robert Pattinson's first thought was, Robert Pattinson. He literally went on record saying, like, I thought it was the last fucking person who would be chosen to play Batman.
But the thing is, like,
but apparently he was great. I heard he was.
He's got good acting chops.
Yeah,
he's been in some good shit.
I feel like people still associate him with
Twilight.
Yeah, what was that movie he just did with William Dafoe? The Lighthouse. The Lighthouse. That was that movie he just did, but I think William Dafoe. Like, that was very highly regarded. Same with Kirsten Stewart, who just played, I think, Princess Diana in that movie, that biopic. And people were saying that Kirsten Stewart should have gotten Best Actress for that role. That people were calling for her to win that. And I'm just like, Kirsten Stewart, really? Like, really? Like, but again, people just still associate her with fucking Twilight. It is like what my good friend Paul Liberty says, who's one of the greatest voice actors who, in my opinion, who ever lived. If I'm being honest, he says there are no bad actors, there are only bad directors. That's what he says. Spicy ass take, I know.
I could kind of agree with that. There have been there have been times. I will agree with that. But so we may, me and David, we were gonna try to make some time to go and see this movie, and we're gonna give our thoughts on it. And I mean, we're gonna already have. We'll maybe try to make it a separate thing from our
buttery ass popcorn.
Yeah, some delicious Slurpees, some ices. That was like my always go-to drink.
To the movies.
To the movie. Double D's go to the movies.
The D's go to the movies.
So maybe that'll be like, I don't think we're going to be making a new logo as far as that goes, but like it'll be its own thing separate from like what we usually talk about on here, which is like variety. We just talk about anything. But like, I thought like a movie podcast would be maybe like.
I'm down to have entire episodes dedicated to it, Dennis. Like that's what I want to do. I'm not like creating a new Anchor account.
No.
And like making like a whole new
This will be like, but this will be its own separate sort of thing from whatever we talk about usually. So it'll be its own different thing, but not really because it's going to be on the same platform as the one that we're using now. So it's like just that sort of thing.
Less than a month. We're doing that for Sonic.
Yeah. And then at the end of the year, we got Chris Pratt Mario, like we have like that, and everyone knows David's thoughts on that. But
don't remind me.
And one other, I guess.
I think of you on a special.
We have a question from Fez. I love how none of you guys I love how none of you guys who are on the Twitter like saw my message and didn't give a question for us to answer. That's bully on you. Fucking losers. Maybe you should get around to doing that next time when we put it up there, you little fucks. But
show us your tits.
Yeah. You want me to show you? Me? Oh my god,
I'm the only person who's gonna
scattered brain right now.
I'm the only person who's gonna get the pleasure of seeing them. So if you guys ask Dennis to show him your tits,
I'll probably just have like a zoomed in picture of my nipple and like there's like that'll be it. Like that's all you. Like you sick fucks are getting.
A girl once sent me like a very like squished up photo of like the fat between like her forearm and like her upper arm, like where her elbow is in the weenus,
kind of like
to make it seem like it was her butt.
Yo, these hoes, man! I swear.
No, she was no.
I'm just saying.
She was honest with me about it.
I know, but she could like. Not she, but like other girls probably were like, oh, it's like, let's get the zoomed in picture right here, and then they think like, yeah, you love this. And then like she like breaks it to you after. It's like, that was my arm, you fucking loser.
I came like 3 times over that shit.
So we have a question for Fez, and it's something that I kind of wish I got asked as well, or at least something that I thought about when I was in high school. So Fez asks, if you could give advice to high school freshmen about their education and in their future, what would you say? And this is a bit of a loaded question because I feel as if this is because I want kids in the future. So it's definitely something, a bit of a conversation that I would like to have with them as well. I think I would ask them, it would boil down to 2 things. And it would really depend on what kind of at least person they are at that point in their life. Because, people do change. Like, people realize certain things about themselves and they kind of sometimes discard it and pursue other things. Like it's such as life. Like, it's never like this one quote I remember, like, life is water, not stone. Like changes with the times and such like that. But
another quote that I heard was life will find a way.
And we also may be watching the new Jurassic Park movie. And David will hear me roast the shit out of this movie the entire 2 hours that we watch it. And I'll just be like, and when the mosasaur pops up, I'll just be like, yo, it's the big fuck you alligator dinosaur.
I haven't seen all of them. Can we binge?
We could binge.
Yeah, we gotta binge the Jurassic Park movies. I haven't seen all of them.
Are we gonna start from the first movie all the way to like?
I'm gonna be so sick of hearing fucking dinosaurs by that point, man. That's a lot of fucking.
Okay,
that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, that's we like could, fucking like we could just 15 hours of just fucking dinosaurs.
We could just watch Jurassic World, the second one after that, and then we'll just end it on Dominion afterwards.
Okay.
How's that then? We don't have to watch all the way because even though the first movie still like slaps, like no matter what. After the second movie, you're just kind of like, Just like,
I get it, man.
and it's like, yeah, dinosaurs.
Dumb, brought back dinosaurs. Capitalism. We did something dumb for profit.
Okay. Let's answer Fez's thing real quick. I would ask them two things. Do you have a passion? Or do you want to make money? Because, after, like, high school is, like, that point in your life where it's, like, it really isn't until junior year or senior year that, like, I guess all the adults are going to be starting to ask you, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like, what do you want as a job? Like, you want to be CEO, president, like, astronaut? Like, what the fuck you want to be? Like, it's when, like, the questions start flying at that point. And obviously, as like, a lot of, like, high schoolers, especially even freshmen, they don't know what the fuck they want. They want to get the fuck out of school. When the clock strikes 3, they want to get the fuck out of there. That's what they want to do. That's at least for me. Unless you're one of those extracurricular guys like back in the day. If you are, then, I got nothing to say to you. If you wanted if you wanted to stick around school for even an hour more, like, not that I can't be friends with you, but it's like, like, why? You got your Nintendo back home. Like, go home. Unless you didn't play video games. So if that's the case, then if you had abusive parents, then fuck yeah, stay at school. Like, stay at school as long as you need if you want to get the fuck away from that. There was also a lot of kids I remember, like, at my school, and even kids that I knew outside of my school that, like, their parents weren't exactly the best. So, like, they did anything they could to, like, basically not see them at home. Like, there were those as well. As far as, like, their future goes, like, yeah, like, I would ask them if maybe I could have been, like, a decent guidance counselor, but I would have been a foul-mouthed ass guidance counselor for sure if that ever happened. But
they would have loved you.
Oh yeah, they probably would have. But I know my other, like, coworkers probably would have, like, been like, no, you can't say that. I'm like, why the fuck not? They probably watch shit even worse than whatever the fuck I'm talking about.
Listen, kid, I know you're 14, and I can't stop you from seeking that pussy. So I'm going to tell you a thing or two about pussy, all right? It's really warm. It tightens up on your dick and it sucks you in and shit like that. You probably use a condom, otherwise you'll get chlamyditis. I know you're going to fuck. Just don't be an idiot about fucking, all right? Like, I wouldn't be like that kind of, all right, the penis goes into the vagina.
Yeah. It's like making you wish, like, it's like, oh.
Has a creepy-ass, like, vulva puppet. Like, for you to, like, use with each other. I would just be straight up with them, be like, all right, I know you kids are gonna fuck. I know all you're thinking about right now is fucking. You're probably sweating right now just thinking about it, you bunch of disgusting ass.
You probably saw Janine in your class, and you probably thought, damn, she's
and this is when he gets fired, because I'm gonna be like, truth be told, if I was your age and I was in high school, I would be fucking pining after that ass too. Janine's pretty hot, and they're like, okay, thank you, everybody, thank you, guidance counselor, guidance counselor DeMarco. You can leave now. What? I'm just trying to teach the kid. You get the fuck out of here. You fucking
pack your shit. Pack your shit and get the fuck out of here.
But let's just fucking be real. Janine's fucking hot. Can I just fucking be real?
But as far as, like, the education in the future,
what for being the cool guidance counselor that everybody liked to the one that, like,
it's like, because, like, stuff like that, like, you'd think at least if your parents were around, they would ask you those kind of questions, and, like, at least, like, for us as well, like, maybe it was different from, like, for our parents' time, because, like, they already kind of, like, once they already thought about doing something, they automatically just said, like, yeah, fuck it, I'm going to be a businessman, or fuck it, I'm going to be a fireman, a policeman, whatever, like, thing. But, at least for us, like, I think perhaps the options have just kind of expanded so much to the point where, like, when you're thinking about your continuing education after high school, it's just kind of like, or even during, like, high school, high school is real tough in the sense of, like, there were a lot of kids that I remember, at least during my time when I was at my high school, a lot of kids already kind of knew what they wanted to do, which would blew my fucking mind as far as, like, like, aspirations and dreams went. And like, I guess
very easy to compare yourself to those people too, which only serves to bring you down. Believe me, I've been there.
And as far as that went, like, a lot of them also, like, they thought that, oh yeah, I want to be this, and then they ended up doing something completely different. And I have plenty of friends that like thought that they were going to be this one thing, but they ended up going a completely different route afterwards. Well, also because one, a lot of the times when they thought about those initial jobs, they had no money. So they picked the other next best thing and because it had money. And especially even now, like with how crazy tuitions are for colleges, even community colleges, fucking Bergen, man, it's expensive, bro. It's expensive now. More than it has ever been. Like even during, like I said,
why you think people are going into NFTs, man?
Me and David, we're veterans of BCC. We're veterans. We got out of there. We did our 2 years and got the fuck out of there. And as far as like those times were way different because, you know, me and David, I think we like probably never paid more than $4,000 for our classes and shit. Like it was usually around 2 or 3, right? Wasn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah. Now it's like it's closing that $4,000 gap. It's getting there.
I feel like part of the reason that's happening is because people are realizing that 4-year institutions are kind of bullshit.
And now Bergen's capitalizing on that too. It's like, oh,
because
we're still cheaper than Montclair, so you guys want to come to us.
Everybody flocks to there, get their associate's degree first, and all of a sudden, this is where everybody is. It's expensive now. Yeah.
Sound strategy regardless. I mean, like, as far as business goes, like, you know, it is what it is. But I think, it's real tough to answer, Fez, because coming off as a guy who just started to realize like what he wanted to do, I think I'll have to even go on to say on top of the answer that I gave, like, you know, whether you have a passion or do you want to make money. On top of that, it's also got to be like, I think there's got to be like that sort of underlying sort of clause where chances are in high school, you're not going to know what the fuck you want to do. Because at least if your high school is cool and you had a lot of cool extracurriculars, like, you know, wood shop, shit like that, or even better yet, like y'all had like decent clubs and like, you know, you got to go to like art club and like just, you know, draw whatever the fuck you want. And like, you know, like I think my school, we had like art shows for the student body, like where everyone who like made anything, like their shit was displayed and like everyone was always like looking at it. And I always thought that was really cool because like it was like one of those times in your life where you actually got like that thing everyone always is looking for online, which is exposure. Because it's like, oh shit, like, you know, let's say, I don't know, Ryan can fucking draw. Look at him, like he fucking made a whole landscape painting. Like, and sometimes like the fucking person who's associated with the drawing is someone you'd never expect. It's the fucking jock sometimes. It's like, oh shit, like this dude could draw. And I think high school is still also in the same sort of category that I guess even college is in that, where like you experiment a lot, or at least if your high school is cool, you'll be able to experiment a lot and actually kind of like maybe try a lot of different things and like you'll kind of figure out like what the fuck you want to do. Like for my school, at least, like all we had going for us was our choir and our marching band. So that's where a lot of people like ended up going into, but nobody ever really decided, oh yeah, I'm going to pursue a career in music. There was like maybe 2 or 3 of them that like actually tried to pursue a career in acting and like trying to go on to Broadway. Other than that, like as far as no one was going to be playing the fucking bassoon for the rest of their fucking life. So like it really depends. It's a tough answer, and I'm sorry, Fez, that like I can't really answer it directly, but I think if I was to break it down into the most simplest terms, like it really depends on what you want in the end. And again, it could change too. Like if you want a stable career, go into business. And if you like science enough, go into health. Like go into medical studies, maybe going into nursing, something like that. If you have like a very artistic passion and you want to be creative, you want to get into graphics design, you want to go into fucking art, you want to even go into filmmaking, like, and go for that. But just know, you know, like any routes, it is tough. But as far as going into the creative route, you're going to be like going through a good chunk of your life where you're not going to be really being able to make money. And it's not stable either. It's the reason why that, at least for me, I thought too initially that, after I left high school, that, I wanted to go into film. But then as soon as I got into film school, I was like, like this isn't for me. Like, and it's a tough question to answer with full certainty because of the fact that like I was one of those people that realized that this wasn't for me, and I decided to pick something else entirely. And I didn't end up pursuing a career in history, which was what I got a BA for at Montclair. Now I'm going into IT, and that's something that I'm pretty good at least I feel. I mean, I passed that first fucking exam, so I guess I'm decent at the very least. But David, yeah, you had a question like before you raised your hand over there.
I know a girl who she played the bassoon. I don't think she would have appreciated what you just said about bassoons.
Does she watch the podcast?
Oh, I'm sure every episode. Yeah.
No insult to bassoon players. I'm just saying.
Shout outs to Gabby.
What do you think?
Well, I'm gonna give you some. I'm going to give some practical and I guess some more big picture, pragmatic advice. The practical one is and always be, if you can't play football, join the theater. Yeah.
Okay, but as far as future though,
I would say, I hate to sound basic, but don't limit yourself. And by don't limit yourself, I don't even necessarily just mean in terms of like your physical options that you can have before you. I'm talking about the stuff that you can manifest. No matter what you do, no matter where you are at mentally, whether you don't know what you want to do or you have a good idea of what you want to do, don't let it be scary. Don't let the idea of the fact that you never know what you're going to be or you never know where life is going to go scare you. Let that inspire you.
Yeah.
Let that fill your heart with joy. Let that like resonate within you and your soul to let you know that you have so many more chapters of your life ahead of you and you can always do something else and that there always is something else, if that makes any sense to you. Once you learn to respect yourself and love yourself enough to not have to deal with no BS, life just opens up for you. You know, life is not this big linear thing that high school makes it out to be. The path to success is not linear. It is blah, 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 go up and down like sporadic. That arrow's going everywhere until it starts to go a little more straight. That's the way it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to know everything about what you want to do in your 20s or when you're in high school.
Yeah, you're 14, no less, as a fucking freshman.
Who knows where they want to completely be in life, sometimes even when they're 40. We don't know exactly everything about ourselves as people until we are very old.
Yeah.
And even then, sometimes we don't know. So why are we expected to know everything that we're supposed to want to do in our life as our career when we're in high school? There's all the little things like people telling you need to go to college, you need to do this. That's to help you sort of buy time to figure out what you want to do. Because that's all Montclair was for me. I figured out that I really like screenwriting there. That's it. Otherwise, that place was useless to me.
Yeah. It's a means to an end.
Yeah, it's a means to an end besides the social experience. I would say don't limit yourself in the physical sense, but don't limit yourself in the attitude sense either, in like sort of the manifestation sense. Like once you realize that life is an open book, I just don't let that scare you. Just let that inspire you to just keep going forward, knowing that what might be, what might not be, and what might not be might be, if that makes any sense to you. What I mean by that is no matter what you do, that doesn't necessarily mean it's useless. Yeah, there might be some things that might eat up your time more. Like for me, I realized that's what competing in Smash Brothers was. It wasn't worth my time anymore, so I stopped. It wasn't worth my time or my money anymore, so I stopped. And that was a good decision. You could, even something like our podcast, like what me and Dennis do, who knows what this could lead to for me and for Dennis. It's so easy to pass it off as useless because it'd be like, oh, there's other podcasts that have so many more viewers and so many more listeners and this and that. Yeah, in that way you could look at it and say that it's useless, but it makes us happy. Yeah. And it fills a hole in our lives and it lets me and Dennis explore ourselves and each other, giggity. But the point is that nothing you never know where something in life is going to take you.
As cliche as it may sound, it's the stuff like that is cliche for a fucking reason, because it's fucking true though. And most people would not even like to admit it though, but like as far as even when, like, you know, dude, if your parents said that they knew what the fuck they wanted to do once they got into high school, they're fucking lying. They're fucking lying. And it's the same for any generation, really. It really is. Like, I think, yeah, I could agree with David on that too. And we're gonna wrap it up here, guys, but I guess our closing thoughts on it is that, like, don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to try new things when you're there, because I think high school especially, like, it's the first experimental kind of ground in which, like, you got 4 years to, like, just try a whole bunch of different things. Like, go to the theater club if, you know, you can't join football, like, you know, as David said. Like,
that's how you get goils.
Yeah. And also go into it knowing that, like, the people you meet there, like, I guess maybe a part of you will remember them, but, like, just know at the same time, like, dude, your high school years were not the highlight of your life. Trust me. Like, you're gonna be going into life and you're gonna, like, get older and older, and you're gonna realize, like, damn, like, high school was fun. It was fun. I think for anyone who did manage to have at least, like, a good close group of friends, and, like, you know, they went through high school and they weathered the bullshit together, that's fun. But, like, I feel as if, like, you know, don't be looking back and say, like, oh, like be like, oh, I miss, like, high school. And I know you could miss it, but at the same time, like, you know, just know that all the stuff you had to learn back then helped you to get where you are now. You know, and as far as, like, high school freshmen, like, dude, I wish I could just straight up tell them, like, y'all not gonna know what the fuck you want until a couple years in. If I was, like, a principal or something, I would tell them all straight up, like, none of you are gonna know what the fuck you want by the time you get in here, and good number of you are probably not even gonna know what the hell you want even after high school. But I would at least just want to tell them that, oh, like, but don't be afraid to try new and different things if your school offers it, because most schools' budgets are shit right now that I don't even think they could even afford to get, like, wood shop unless they got money. But
fundraisers and stuff like that.
So that would be my takeaway on it. Fez.
Formulated for me, I guess, to TLDR, life is not a race.
Yeah,
it's a ride.
For sure.
There you go. That's a good way to say it. You know, you treat it like an open book, and you're gonna find that you're gonna be able to turn the pages a lot easier. Of that book.
That's for sure.
Get it? It's like a metaphor that I did. It's like a book as far as your life going forward. Like a page turning, taking the next chapter. I felt like I had to explain that just in case people don't get metaphors and shit. All right.
So here are our plugs right here.
Boop. You can, on the screen.
Y'all can, we could all find them in the description below, and please like, comment, and also share with your loved ones of our shitty podcast. And
yeah, please go to your 93-year-old grandmother and put this podcast in her ears.
Yeah. it'll revive her.
And on her deathbed, she shall weep for the future of humanity upon hearing the prophetic language inside of her ears.
It'll revive her for a brief moment, just so that she could give you that warning. And
then leave that on your Apple Podcast review. This podcast revived my grandmother.
And also,
David and Dennis are miracle workers.
Like our video. Like the episode. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Follow us on our also other podcast platforms. And this was a bit of a long-winded episode, and I guess it was due to Fez and his question. But
yeah, God damn it, Fez, you're not even in high school anymore. Why did you ask that?
I mean, unless I don't know you, Fez, but unless you got like a kid.
I know Fez.
Okay, like I don't know. Do you have a kid or something? I don't know. Like, but
God, I hope not. No disrespect, Fez. He's too young.
These bitches be cuffing these young men out here.
I wish Fez just wake up covered in ladies, as he is one to do.
So
that we cannot give Fez advice on. For he
all
has
we can-
already mastered the craft at achieving quote-unquote bitches, as the kids say, at the ripe young age of 12.
But he already knows this advice. Just wrap your dick. Just don't be stupid. But
Yeah, that's
but that's our episode for today, guys. So again,
This podcast drops like my balls at the age of 12.
don't forget to like and comment, please. It really helps the algorithm. We're trying to please the algorithm daddy out here to like throw us a bone right now. And also be sure to share it with like any of your loved ones out there. Put it in your Discord chat. Say like, look at these two unfunny like talk about shit that they have clearly no idea about. But also I believe David has one other plug left.
I do?
For someone that you know.
What?
For her movie.
That's next week.
Oh, okay, never mind. Fuck it. Okay, that's for next week.
But, what are you talking about? You're the one who always says you don't want spoilers.
My bad. But I guess a preview for next week. So guys, that was our episode for today. Thank you for tuning in and listening to us ramble on about shit that we clearly have no idea what we're talking about. Clearly are experts on everything that we spoke about, obviously. Me and David were self-proclaimed experts, PhDs in every subject that we talked about.
Yeah.
And so
pretty huge D's, not dicks, D's. Because we're both D's. Because I'm David and he's Dennis, and
big milkers.
This is the episode where I explain every analogy. And to conclude here, by quickly talking about the topics that we didn't get to talk about, we shall go through all those topics in one sentence. So, F-Zero X is coming to the Switch, and that's all you F-Zero fans are going to be getting. Let's just be real, that's the whole topic, that's all we would pretty much say about it. Elden Ring is definitely Game of the Year, bar none, according to Denise. I didn't play it, so I can't judge, but he's a gamer, and Dennis knows his game, so there we go. And no one gives a shit about this, but Dennis may be getting a Steam Deck in the future. And there are, in fact, games he wants to play on it. That's what this guy wrote. on the note page.
David got like 2 topics, and I got like 5. And we only talked about 2 each.
2, yeah.
2 each.
We didn't even talk about how like Twitter has downvotes now, which I was losing my shit over.
We don't know if any official news about it yet.
Yeah. But well, whatever. Yep.
We'll see in the coming weeks if it is legitimate. If this was just like a PTR type shit that they decided to do and like just wanted to test the waters, maybe.
And we'll see you in your dreams.
We love you. Bye!
That's off.